morning.
Good morning.
I'm Tyler. This is my beautiful wife, Sarah. We are from Boston. Well, not from Boston, but that's where we're at now. So first, I just wanted to say thanks so much for allowing us to come up and speak for communion. Sarah and I have the honor and privilege to celebrate 5 years of being disciples, actually this week. And so I was baptized March 9th, 2014. She was baptized 6 days later, March 15th. And we were baptized in Syracuse, New York. By an amazing couple. I don't know if you guys know this, but Joel and Courtney Parlour. So it was awesome that was awesome, but also it's just cool to be here 5 years later. To really celebrate 5 years with them. So thank you guys so much for making us into disciples 5 years ago, and just for your continued love. So it's crazy how many lessons you can learn in 5 years. Just reflecting back and thinking about everything that God has done. And it's crazy to see where God can take you if you just pay attention to what He's trying to do. But it really all begins with the cross of Christ. The only reason that we can really even be here. The cross has meant many things to us over the past 5 years. Love, perseverance, second chances, third chances, fourth chances. Really, a lot of different chances. Grace, strength, and the list goes on and on. But I thought we would share kind of as of late what it's meant to us.
Come on.
And what it's meant to us lately is servitude. And Jesus gives us a great example in Matthew chapter 14.
Come on, bro.
Matthew 14, starting in verse 13. It says, "When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, 'This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they themselves can get some food.' Jesus replied, 'They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat.'" Here we see Jesus is enduring some hardship. Right before this, he had just found out that his cousin John had been beheaded. So he goes away to think, probably to process and to pray in a solitary place by himself. But over 5,000 people followed him. And we know that if you just keep reading, you'll see that this is when they feed the 5,000 people. Jesus not only served the people, but he also called his grumbling and faithful disciples to do the same.
Come on, bro.
And this is where we have been as of late, grumbling and faithless towards the call of servitude. So just to give you guys a little short background of, what's been going on. We're part of the Boston church, as we said a minute ago. And we've been there for almost 4 years. And about a year and a half ago, we were asked to move to New Hampshire, which is a little over an hour away, to kind of start a small group region type thing. So we went up there, and there was only 6 other disciples. And over the next 6 months after we moved, all 6 of those disciples fell away.
Wow.
So it was just Sarah and I. And it was hard. We had a lot of struggles. For about a year, it was just us in solitude. About a month ago, a little over a month ago, the church has decided to send a team of 14 people to help us. So a big prayer answered that we've been praying for really a year. So some of them have started to move up about a month ago. And we, as the only couple up there, have been called to serve the mission team wholeheartedly. So currently right now we have 2 brothers sleeping on our couch. My sister, amazingly, was baptized 1 month ago and moved from Michigan. So she's also living with us. So you can see, luckily we have like 2 floors, so the brothers are downstairs and she's upstairs. But it's pretty hectic. And this all happened in a matter of 1 week.
Wow.
They all moved. And we were told like 4 days before it even happened. Oh, by the way, we need brothers to stay with you. Oh, and your sister's moving. So it was really crazy. But the truth is, we weren't expecting it, but Jesus is calling us to be servants of his people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let Sarah share a little bit.
Come on, Sarah!
It's pretty incredible how God, when he answers prayers, he goes all out. And he's very honestly, Tyler and I are extremely excited to have the support come up towards us. And it's been a long year to see really people that you poured your heart out to leave God. And so we were ready. And my first thought was, oh, I can't wait to be encouraged myself and receive the fellowship and really just get fulfilled. But quickly I learned that that wasn't what God had planned for us. Because yeah, as Tyler said, we have 2 brothers sleeping on a couch right now. They came up without jobs, without a place to live. So, you know, we were really called to really step in and help them, to help Tyler's sister Lindsay move from Michigan, pay for a plane ticket, study the Bible with her. I mean, she studied the Bible in 4 days and just went back, packed up a suitcase, came back. So it's been a real roller coaster of nobody to, you know, just having people around. And it's been quite the transition. And honestly, it's been really hard for me. It's kind of going from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds to really be asked to just give everything. To give our cars. They don't have cars, so we only have the 2 cars, and we sit down Sunday nights and talk about our schedules. Who's gonna take the car for school? Who's gonna take the car for work? And on my job, I'm on call for work, so you know that takes the car out of the equation usually too. And just really being flexible and giving. And that's been hard for me because I'm just used to, hey, it's my car. I can leave and come and go whenever I want. I can come home and kick up my feet, relax, you know, get away from things. But no, you come home and, you know, there are brothers and sisters that need help, that need to be fed. Even in our marriage, having that time together, it's now family time. So just, you know, really trying to maneuver around that. It really exposed in my heart my selfishness of just wanting to find comfort for myself and not thinking past myself. So it taught me a lot of patience with others. And then it just made me reflect on Jesus in this passage, how you know, he could have easily just withdrawn and been like, yeah, they need to go take care of themselves. Like, you know, I already got enough on my plate. Like, you guys, you got it. But no, like Jesus sacrificed, and he sacrificed even when he went to the cross, knowing that people would even turn away from him. And it's crazy because Tyler and I really were excited to come out and visit this week here in Seattle, to kind of retreat, essentially. It's been a little crazy. And we just got in yesterday, and last night, Tyler's brother called to say that Lindsay, his sister, was leaving the church. She had bought a plane ticket and was currently driving an hour. She took an Uber an hour from New Hampshire to the airport. Wow. And when we heard that last night, the thoughts that went through my mind were, how could she? We bent over backwards for her. We fed her. We gave her a place to live. We sacrificed a lot. And in my mind, I just realized how that's so unlike Jesus.
Come on, sis.
Because, like I said, you know, he went to the cross knowing what we did. He bent over backwards for us. Yeah.
So about 2 hours after Lindsay called me, she called me back and told me she was making a huge mistake, and the disciples went and picked her up from the airport. So clearly we've been going through a lot. And we can just look at Jesus and his example and see that even in his hard times, he didn't grumble and complain. Even when the times where he wanted to retreat and process even the death of his cousin, he was still compassionate and he still took care of them. And a lot of times my response can be like the disciples here. And I can grumble and complain about where God has put us. But, when God says, you feed them, we can say, but Lord, it's too late. He says, you feed them, but we don't have enough money to do that. He says, you feed them, but there's so many of them and we don't have enough food. You feed them, but we want some us time. You feed them, but we're tired. You feed them. We didn't expect this.
Wow.
Jesus didn't die for these responses.
Right. Wow.
We didn't become disciples 5 years ago to respond to our Lord in this way. Instead, when Jesus says, you serve them, we say, yes, Lord.
Wow.
It's our honor and our duty.
Yeah.
Let's pray.
Come on, bro.